When we start looking into 2024, building wealth is the top priority of the middle Americans. Now, overall, how is wealth built and how is it is created is what we're going to be breaking down in this video, guys. And you'll find it really interesting because as again, we get into 2024, building wealth is the top priority that people are looking for. However, the concern and really the disposition between the wealthy and the middle class comes from a completely different place, guys. Now, when you think of wealthy, this can mean a ton of different things. That could mean money as being a primary source of anxiety. It could be a primary source of financial security. It could give you the ability to do what you want to in your life. Now, of the people that they polled for this survey, it was between $50,000 and $150,000, which they consider is the kind of middle Americans. Now, Americans' top earners, how do they really make their money? This does not come from wages. That is right, guys. The bottom 80%, so 80% of us watching this video, if not even more, receive more than 93% of their adjusted gross income from wages, retirement, and Social Security. Let me say that again because it is kind of crazy to think. The bottom 80% of US households receive more than 93% of their income from wages, retirement, and Social Security. That leaves a very, very, very small percent. By comparison, the top 0.1%, now this is 1/100th of a percent, gets less than 20% of earnings from wage and retirement. So the people who have the most money do not get their money from working, which again, it is kind of a different way to think of it, which is the reason why I really had to go through it. The top earners earn almost all of their income exclusively from investments. It is interest, it is dividends, it is capital gains, it is businesses, which are often provided and usually provided a much better and different tax benefits than what we have being the bottom 92% than what we just seen. So the tax code incentivizes you to invest in yourself, which is really the big thing of diversifying your income through investments. Most Americans pay regular income tax, which goes to a top rate of 37%. Long-term capital gains, so if you're getting your money from investments, has a cap of 20%. That is right, guys. So as hardworking regular income tax from wages, we are capped at 37%. However, if we're getting a lot of income that is not coming from regular wages, our cap for capital gains goes to 20%, which means the people that are making the most money are paying a cap of 20%. The people that are in the middle American class is doing up to 37% of the tax of the income. So is really carrying the burden. This is the reason, guys, why I focus so much about the investing and really looking at the investment aspect. The large chunk of investments come from the very top 1% earners. When you look at the lower and the middle class consumers, it is very unimportant for a majority of people to invest, and investing on an access in a scale that you can actually make this create wealth. Now, access to the equity markets in stocks and bonds, even looking at ETFs, things like that, is the single greatest wealth creation engine in the world. That is right, guys. It has created more millionaires, billionaires, possibly even in the future trillionaires, is through the equity markets and investing money itself. Regardless of your income, wage earners can leverage the power of investing by starting early and then having that compounding interest. Now, another thing that they really note is there is no fast way to do this unless you have the money, guys. If you're putting tens of thousands, hundreds of $1,000s into the market, it's going to grow exponentially. If you're a regular earner, if you're putting a couple $100s here, even a couple $1,000s there, you're not really going to have as much of an impact unless you're investing for a very long time. Now, it's really a game of inches, very small, tiny behaviors that will make the biggest impact and the longevity of your life. If you're investing in the stock market and you're investing on the stock market in a regular routine, pay yourself first mentality, which again is what I focus on, focusing on buying out those ETFs and investing money in the stock market for the long term, you will have the most beneficial. Now, when you look at 100% of your income, the gross income or your take-home income is the biggest tool that you have in your toolbox, guys, that people overlook. So what do we normally do when we get more income that the wealthy people do not? Number one, we give it away for interest. That is right, guys. We are paying hundreds of dollars of interest a month. So if you're making, let's say, for instance, $4,000 a month, you're giving away $500 of that every single paycheck to interest to pay your bills just to stay afloat. That is the point where the debt elimination has to come into play, guys. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Eliminating the debt is your priority number one. That is going to give you the tool and give you the power to actually change your future by investing in the market and making sure that you're getting those dividends, making sure you're getting those returns, because it is going to make a big difference when you're getting interest, dividends, capital gains. Even thinking big picture, if you get up to, let's say, $1 million in the market, let's say even you're getting a 5% return, you can take $50,000 of that off of the top. Now, taking $50,000 off, even when it comes to the capital gains, you're going to be taxed on about $6,000 of that at a 15%. Even if you took, let's say again, that $1 million, you're making your 5% return. If you took 44K off there, if you're married, filing jointly for taxes, even if you took 89K out of there, you pay zero. That is right, guys. Long-term capital gains rate for anything less than that 89,000 is going to be zero, which means you can go ahead and save a couple. I mean, if you get $1 million, 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be, to the point of getting wealthy through investing on a regular basis, you can take money out of there to fulfill everything that you need in your life. Again, at the tune of $89,000 a year, if it has been in there long-term, which I believe is greater than 1 year, and you will pay nothing. You will pay no tax, which again, you wonder how the wealthy make their money and how they stay on top and how they stay creating more wealth and more generation. When you get to a point of life, and I know a lot of us may never see it, that you really question the system itself, when you question the fundamentals of making so much money. And I know Alex Hormozi talks about this, making so much money that you really question what it's for is kind of crazy, guys. But again, getting to the point of being able to evade tax, or not really evade taxes, not have to pay taxes. You're at a much favorable rate if you have discounts, if you have businesses, interest, dividends, capital gains. Again, you can get rid of almost the entirety of what you're paying in taxes by smaller withdrawals, not making as much money. And again, less than 20% of earnings come from wages in the top 1% of the earners within the United States. So again, just take a minute to think about that, guys. 80% of US households receive more than 93% of their income from wages and retirement income. That's it, guys. That sums it up. It is absolutely kind of crazy to see the stats that they run around this, but it is true, guys. When you look at building wealth, wealth comes from investing in the market, investing on a regular basis, investing a decent amount over an extended amount of time, and the wealth will be there. So, guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.